I think we already have Adrian on the screen any second now, so I will be talking to him about customer experience. So, I guess he's coming up in just a few seconds. Guys, this is live, you know. Hey, Adrian, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah, how are you? I think you probably did a better job explaining it than I did, so yeah, well done on that.
So you heard me, okay, good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you did
awesome.
a great job.
All right, thank you. So yeah, we're here in the living room. I'm here with Thomas. We really enjoyed your strategy talk, like I said. But I want to ask you first, how are you enjoying TechEd?
Well, it's great. You know, like the greatest thing about this year is like our resilience as organizations and as people, as consumers, you know, like even in the light of such like world changing events like the pandemic, you know, we're still able to connect, we're still able to innovate, we're still able to drive businesses forward, to drive experiences forward. So, you know, it's great to see. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, great job.
Great. I mean, we're enjoying it as well, so I'm happy to see that that's kind of seen on the other side. We're having a lot of fun here on Channel 1, engaging with everybody, and of course, the amount of content that we have this year and the audience that we're able to reach is just amazing. So yeah, hopefully that will continue for years to come.
Great.
All right, so let's get into the questions. I have a few questions from our audience. So I thought this would be kind of a good icebreaker because your strategy talk was all about customer experience, and really at the center of that we have the customer data platform. But we have a highly voted question from our audience, and they want to know the difference between the customer data platform and customer data cloud. Could you explain that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So SAP Customer Experience is made up of a few component parts which help organizations meet their customers' expectations. One of those areas is actually SAP Customer Data Cloud, which is everywhere where we can learn about the customer and also learn so who the customer is and how they want to engage with an organization. So actually the customer data cloud comes from the Gigya acquisition actually that SAP made in 2017, where I came from into the SAP family. And traditionally, up until this point, it's been around identity management of consumers. So the onboarding of whether you're an individual or part of an organization, it's about the onboarding of registration, login, my account management, and also preference and consent management. So it's about knowing who the customer is across those digital channels, and how you as an individual want to provide consent and data privacy elements in your hands, in your control, as you're engaging with that organization. So it's really about the digital unification and onboarding of customers as they're engaging with your digital services. And then we actually grow that portfolio with the customer data platform that you just heard about.
Okay.
So, we have customers that will start their journey solving the digital identity and consent and preference management challenge that enterprises have, and then growing to think about, okay, I have a holistic challenge about those fragmented experiences, and that's why we now have the customer data platform. You can start your journey in any place. They are independent, but well connected and well integrated solutions. But typically what we see is there's a maturity model. You know, you have to first solve the digital identity challenge before you think about the more holistic data challenge of the customers. So the customer data cloud or the customer data solutions includes the identity management piece, the consent and preference management, which is about privacy and putting the customer in control, and then the customer data platform, which is what you've just learned about today.
Perfect. Okay, that was awesome. Thank you so much for that information. I guess, the customer data platform is really like the next step in your customer experience journey, right?
Yeah, it's our evolution, right? It's SAP's evolution in that space, and as we evaluate what's happening in the market and how we can help our customers best reach those expectations of changes in the market.
Awesome. All right, great. So the next question I think is also really cool. So our audience wants to know how customer data platform can really help organizations improve the customer experience.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that, whether you're an organization that's selling to individuals or whether you're an organization that's selling to organizations, in the end, it's about the individual that you're working with, whether they're part of a department, a part of an organization that's buying products and services from you, whether it's us as consumers. It's about that customer. It's about me as an individual, knowing me, knowing the right conversation and engagement to have across those different engagement touch points that I have with an organization. And actually, the organizations that have better engagements, that are more relevant, interesting, helpful, transparent in those moments of engagement, are ultimately more resilient as they deal with the channel changes, preference changes, expectation changes. So the customer data platform is really to connect the various experiences that you have, not just when you're selling a solution to a customer. You might be using personalization, you might be using your marketing platform to really drive the sale of products and services, but the customer data platform can connect the other channels that you engage. So for example, if I walk into brick and mortar store and I scan my loyalty card at the checkout process, having that data available instantly in your service platform, so that if I have a challenge, I can move at the pace of the customer to meet those kind of demands about, I've just bought this product in store, I've got this issue, can you help me? And it's kind of, the data foundation that all of our solutions are built on top of. It could be the fact that, you've opened up an email interested in certain products and services, and then when you're on your native app looking at the same brand, you get the same recommendations, the same continuity between all of those channels. But also the making sure that even if I don't opt into marketing emails, for example, I can still fulfill a product and a service from an organization at the speed that I need to engage with that organization. So it's systems of engagement, not just for when you're selling solutions. It's really about how you better know the customer in those different engagement phases of your own journey with an organization.
Excellent. Okay. So maybe let's deep dive a little bit into the use cases that we have for customer data platform. So I know you mentioned your strategy talk. It was just actually released a few weeks ago, so it hasn't been fully GA for that long. But we had 3 beta customers, right? Can you share a little bit about their experience?
Yeah, and it was an interesting time. What we didn't want to do as an organization is actually bring product to the market without first making sure that it was relevant to our customers.
Right.
Making sure that as part of the whole development process, we built in this phase where we would let customers have early access to the platform and really run their use cases on the platform to validate and improve the general availability launch that we recently had. So one example use case was actually because of the pandemic of what happened. There was an electronic retailer that was using the customer data platform and had a true mix of people walking into store or buying online. But when everyone went online, there was a lot of service requests about, updates to their delivery, their products and services. And it was multiple systems involved in giving the transparency about those deliveries, about the updates, about, all of the different events and activities that are happening around getting that product to the customer. So the customer data platform was actually used as a central point to connect all of those data insights around the orders that had been happening and expose them back to the customer in the account pages for my order updates. So actually it reduced the whole point of the use case was to provide transparency of what's going on once you've placed an order. So also there's for an organization, you have less calls to the call center because it's more self-service than it was before. And that's typical. There's many systems that have updates about like an order process. And then there were more use cases around, Another organization was capturing, say, the warranty registration date of products that were purchased in store or online, so that when those products came to a point where, you know, they're running out of warranty, you can offer either, you know, the right products and services around that product to really, you know, help you support the use and the continuous kind of improvement of that product as the customer is moving forward. Also, I would say, you know, if you're in the marketing team, thinking about things like birthdays and sending, you know, or sending audiences from the customer data platform to your marketing platform to send tailored and personalized, you know, email offers on birthday events. And, you know, I think that the thing about the customer data platform is if you look at one use case, you think, okay, I could probably do that with a point-to-point integration. But if you think about the teams that are involved in customer engagement, it's really cross-functional. So there's service teams, sales teams, marketing teams, digital commerce teams. And each might have 2 or 3 different requirements on top of the, you know, that they want to enhance the customer experience, and that's where the CDP can help. So when you're at the 5th or 6th use case that the CDP can help with, that's really when you're going to see, you know, the real value of the customer data platform when it's connecting all of those systems of engagement.
Right. Okay, awesome. And I think you mentioned this in the beginning, but it's really about that holistic approach, right? So putting everything together, not just focusing on one thing, but like you said, a multitude or plenitude of use cases that can really follow the customer through their journey. And you mentioned, what I really liked in your strategy talk was you mentioned how, you know, a good or bad experience can really come down to how much you know from a customer in one specific moment. So it's really all about having that information at the right time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the evolution of CRM in the end. You know, customer relationship management was typically a system that had, you know, relatively strict models about the customer, and it relied on people updating the record for CRM so that you knew the best view of that customer in that moment. But it was, you know, it's only as good as the data, the updates to the data that your teams kind of, you know, power. The point of the customer data platform is that it can take those automated signals from across all of those systems of engagement. And the reality is that there isn't just one customer 360 view for an organization. It depends which team you're in. It depends what you're trying to do on top of that data. So a customer view might be different from a marketing team, you know, from a marketeer to a, you know, a customer services representative to a, you know, an account executive as their, or an account manager. You know, it's really a system that can power those different views with relevant data, so that when you choose to engage or when you have a conversation with that organization, you know, conversations are, you know, only continue when they're interesting on both sides, right? It's no good just having a one-way conversation. You don't get anywhere with that. So the CDP can power those moments of conversation with the relevant, you know, kind of insight with that customer to make it interesting for that moment of engagement. And then it disappears, right? Because the next time that you engage, it's actually influenced from the previous time. So it's continuously evolving, changing. It's really a fluid customer profile that then is real time across those systems of engagement.
Right. And I really like that part about the conversation. It's totally true. I mean, it only makes sense if it's a two-way street, right? If it's just a monologue, then nobody's going to pay attention. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And you feel like you're not heard as an individual. Those are those points where you actually think, I don't feel important to this organization. I feel like I'm 1 in 1 million customers. And you know, so that's no longer a viable approach. You know, whether even if you're selling to individuals, if you're selling to organizations, we have to really speak to people like we are, you know, we're all individuals, we have our own journey, but the problem with that journey and the flexibility these days is that it makes it hard for enterprises. So that's why we see technology like the customer data platform coming in to help in those situations.
Awesome. So my next question, and this is always a big topic, I think, at any TechEd or really in any kind of customer engagement, or at least where I've engaged with customers, is they always want to know, okay, great, this is what you offer today, but what's next? What's planned? So can you share maybe what the next investments are for the customer data platform?
Yeah, so if you think about so where we started today, we had to pick focus on solving particular challenges for particular industries like retail, direct to consumer, and consumer products, and helping in those kind of engagements. But actually, the customer data platform is really a platform that's going to help engage with. We talk about B2C and B2B and variants thereof. The customer data platform will be a platform that really solves the challenge from business to everyone. So whether you're an organization or an individual, it needs to be able to support and understand those in when you're selling to an organization, the relations and the account as a view, so the actual organization as a view, understanding that as it happens and changes, and so that's one of the areas that we're going to invest in. But also, there's capabilities as part of the platform that are also going to grow and extend in the next 6 to 12 months and continuously, because it's a true multi-tenant SaaS platform, so it can have continuous delivery and improvements on the features that we release. So more complex journey activation, so real-time triggers to systems of engagement. It's going to have more comprehensive resolution of data as it's streaming into the platform, and then more of the BI capabilities that we bring with SAP and the business technology platform on top of the data that you get from the customer data platform, but also thinking more about the not just customer data but holistic data across your enterprise. So that's really where connecting from or blurring the lines, removing the complexity of front and back office integrations and transparency of those end-to-end processes. Yeah. So there's a few areas that we're going to invest in, and I'm really looking forward to. I think our customers will come up with some really unique ways to use the CDP and drive customer experience, and that's really what kind of drives me on to make sure that we're delivering in the customer data platform.
Yeah, I can only second that. And also, I mean, you touched on a lot of things that are kind of close to my heart, because you touched, for example, on the extensibility. Yes, we're going to invest in a lot of things, and we're going to be able to provide, new features and new capabilities right out of the box. But it's also really important that we give our customers that option to extend and to change or to add features that they need, because of course there are, some specific business requirements that's only particular to that company, right? Or that it's a differentiator for that company, and they don't want it. They don't want to get it out of the box. They want to do it themselves, so that, it distinguishes them from their competition as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we as a technology vendor can know what the majority paths are for things like integrations, and actually, integrations that are based on business outcomes rather than point to point, connecting this API to this API. What are the reasons for that integration, and how can we better improve those integrations? But in the end, we could spend, we could deliver 1,000 use cases for integrations, but I can guarantee within the first 10 customers that come along, there'll be 1,001. So that's just from experience. So that's why we have to, first of all, have great integrations that really fulfill a majority use case, but provide platforms that allow side-by-side extensibility, automation, really using the pieces of those platforms that make it most relevant to you. So that's why, things like the customer data platform are API first, integrated with the business technology platform to really, where we can use things like extensibility capabilities that are built into the business technology platform. So, absolutely, we need to be great at integration, but we also need to be great at allowing our customers to extend beyond those pre-built integrations.
Yeah, and I think think that's true across SAP. So it's really great that I think we're all on the same level in that sense, and we're all trying to push those two main capabilities, like you said, integration, and of course, it's not just SAP to SAP. I mean, you mentioned third-party systems as well. That's super important because systems of engagement are, all over the place, and a customer is going to have a heterogeneous landscape, let's say. So yeah, super interesting there. All right, so I do have a few more questions. Another thing that kind of comes up with customers a lot is there are a lot of other, marketing solutions or data management solutions out there. So can you maybe say what the differentiator is for a customer data platform against those other types of solutions?
Yeah, and I would say the customer data platform market has been in, probably not a great deal of definition since it came into being a thing in the last, 5 to 6 years. I'll say front office, but it's really, those systems that have a direct engagement with customers, whether they're individuals or organizations. There have been many technology platforms in the past that are still relevant, but they serve different purposes. So, I talked a bit about CRM before, and CRM was really to provide a continuity of relationship management for customers, right? It was a business process orientated capability to help the organization be more consistent with how they run their business and have relationships with customers. And then you had then different types of data feeding in, and you needed some governance on top of the data. And then you have things like MDM, which solves a real business challenge of data quality. But because of the systems that are needed to connect, it's a structured data layer that really improves data quality across the enterprise. And then you had marketing technology, what we call a DMP, a data management platform, which was really used to retarget to customers across different digital properties. So you looked at a product or service on an e-commerce site, and it would follow you around the web to try and reintroduce you to that conversation. That is DMPs and DSPs. But the challenge with those platforms is the data privacy market is changing, cookies are changing, so it becomes harder and harder to know the customer across those different channels. And then you have marketing platforms, and marketing platforms do a vital thing in those engagement layers. Really, how can I get all of the data that I need to power the right emails, the right push, the right SMS, the right, print, the right ads on social media based on everything that I know about that customer, where I have the consent to do so. So all of these systems are still valid, they're still in use, and they continue to grow and evolve. Where the customer data platform came in was really, I have so much unstructured data about the customer, so many systems of engagement, so many different vendors in my heterogeneous landscape. How can I actually scale a platform to have a view of the customer depending on who's using the data in real time? And the technology hasn't always been there and available. And I think, we're starting to see really enterprise scale customer data platforms that can deal with the 250 million identities or the 4 billion cookies that are stored in enterprises, at that kind of scale. So the customer data platform is an evolution of those things. It doesn't necessarily replace your marketing platform. It doesn't replace your CRM. It actually adds the context to all of those engagements, but built on a data privacy first approach.
Perfect. I mean, that was an excellent answer. So thank you so much for that. And maybe just to finish off the interview, because I assume there are other similar solutions out there from competitors. So can you maybe say why a customer should go with this SAP solution?
Yeah, I mean, think about our origin, right? We built like we mentioned at the start of the interview, the customer data platform is an evolution of our customer data solutions. And we come from a background of nearly 3 billion first-party identities that are managed in our customer data solutions. 8 billion consent transactions that are stored that really govern how and where and when customers engage across systems of engagement. So I want a marketing email on this channel, on this preference, with my preferences on this date. So we come from a foundation of really knowing customer data well. And we've built in those same principles to our customer data platform. So data privacy is every type of data that you push into the customer data platform, you have to know how you can use that data later on. If you don't think about that first, actually, you're really exposing your organization to risk of misusing data in other systems. So data privacy was a key thing as we moved forward. We had to focus on delivering the real-time, in the moment view of the customer across systems of engagement, not just marketing. You know, CDPs have often been mistaken to help complement just marketing use cases, but that only solves part of the challenge. So we had to go beyond marketing and think, okay, how do I interconnect into the back office capabilities, the digital supply chain, the service engagements, the personalization, the face-to-face engagements. And you know, as I mentioned just then, SAP's value is that we have a broad view of end-to-end integrations from when you buy a product to when it's delivered, and you know how you felt along that journey with Qualtrics and connecting into the back office. So those three things, you know, really data privacy at the core, building a platform that doesn't just solve a marketing use case, but marketing is very important, and the view of the processes that we are exposed to as SAP and connecting that all together.
Yeah, I mean, that was great, Adrian. So thank you so much for the chance to talk to you. Thank you for answering all our questions. I feel the audience really appreciated it. And yeah, I mean, that's the time that we had for today. So thank you so much again, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks.